Okay, so when you picture a skyscraper going up, what do you see? You probably imagine cranes, scaffolding, and workers way up high. It's a classic image of progress, sure, but it's also packed with risk. But what if the biggest leap forward in construction safety wasn't a new kind of helmet, but a complete change of scenery? Today, we're diving into the safety secret of modular construction. I mean, just think about that question for a second. It completely flips centuries of construction wisdom right on its head. It suggests that to solve some of the industry's most stubborn safety issues, the answer isn't to add more gear to the job site, but to maybe leave the site altogether.
All right, so first, let's step onto a traditional construction site. It's an incredible place, a marvel of coordination and skill. But let's be honest, it's also an environment where danger is often just seen as part of the job. Just think about all the variables at play. Workers are out there dealing with extreme weather. We're talking everything from freezing rain to brutal heat. They're often working from incredible heights on scaffolding. And down below, you've got this crazy dance of electricians, plumbers, and framers all trying to work in the same space. It's a recipe for unpredictable and often dangerous situations.
So, how do you solve for that many unpredictable variables? Well, what if you could just eliminate them? The solution isn't some new tool, it's a new location. You take the entire building process and you move it inside, under a roof. And this is what we call off-site modular construction. Instead of building a whole structure from the ground up on-site, it's built in separate pieces or modules inside a factory. The key word here, the one that changes everything, is controlled. That single idea, moving from an uncontrolled site to a controlled factory, is what unlocks this revolutionary level of safety. And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, this safety advantage. So let's do a direct side-by-side comparison and see how this new approach tackles those old hazards we were just talking about. First up, weather. On a traditional site, a sudden rainstorm can mean dangerously slippery surfaces. A heat wave can lead to exhaustion or heat stroke. But inside a factory, the climate is perfectly controlled and well-lit 24/7. An entire category of risk is just gone. Okay, next, let's talk about height. Working on scaffolding, sometimes dozens of stories up, is easily one of the biggest dangers in construction. In a modular factory, though, most of the work happens right at ground level. Instead of climbing up rickety structures, workers are on solid floors at stable workstations. It pretty much eliminates the risk of those catastrophic falls. And finally, crowding. A traditional site can feel totally chaotic, with all these different trades trying not to trip over each other. The factory floor, on the other hand, is basically an assembly line. It's an organized, linear workflow. Every team has its own dedicated zone, and the work just moves from one station to the next. This prevents collisions and mistakes and makes the whole thing safer and way more efficient. So, when you add up all these safety improvements, something really interesting happens. You don't just get a safer project, you get a better project, period. It really is a faster, safer, and all-around smarter way to build. And this really shows you the logic, right? It all starts with that controlled environment. That control is what lets you systematically reduce or even get rid of hazards. And when you have fewer hazards and fewer delays from things like bad weather, the result is a project that gets delivered not only more safely, but a whole lot faster too. It all boils down to this one simple principle. And this isn't just some catchy phrase. It's the core philosophy behind the whole idea. Every single safety benefit we've talked about comes from this one powerful concept. When you control the environment, you control the risk. So what does all this mean for the future of an entire industry? Well, it suggests a pretty fundamental shift in how we even think about putting up the buildings we live and work in every day. Ultimately, this is the big takeaway. The major innovation here isn't some new material or a fancy new tool. It's a new location. By shifting the bulk of the work from a chaotic construction site to an organized factory floor, we're making one of the most significant leaps in construction safety in decades. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. As this method gets more and more common, you have to ask yourself, are we looking at the future? Is that iconic construction site with all the cranes and the open-air framework on its way to being replaced by the clean, controlled, and safe environment of a factory? It definitely gives you something to think about.